Welcome to the Listen Up podcast, where we explore hearing loss, communication, connections, and health.
Hi, everybody. Dr. Mark Sims here. I'm the host of the Listen Up podcast, where I feature top leaders in healthcare. This episode is brought to you by Listen Up Hearing Center. I help patients to effectively treat their hearing loss so that they can connect better with their family and friends and remain independent. The reason I'm so passionate about patients and hearing is because I lost my brother twice. I lost Robbie first to hearing loss from his radiation from his brain tumor, and then again when he passed away. I'm the E of ENT. I only care for ears. I've performed over 10,000 ear surgeries and taken care of many more with nerve hearing loss. I'm the founder of Listen Up Hearing Center, and I've written a book by the same name, Listen Up, A Physician's Guide to Effectively Treating Your Hearing Loss. If you want to learn more about that, go to listenuphearing.com. That's listenuphearing.com. Today we have a great guest, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce everything correctly. It's Jenni Ahtiainen, is a designer and founder of Deafmetal. She can correct me. Hearing loss runs in her family. She's been working as an accessory designer for her own accessory brand called G-Tie, which was established 14 years ago. In 2018, she started her hearing journey and got hearing aids. That's when she received her first hearing aids, and she was in her 30s. Being that she was in the beauty and fashion industry, she described herself as coming home wearing alien devices which did not fit her self-image. So she started working on Deafmetal. We're excited to learn about her journey and her to share her thoughts about the impact from a fashion and just a personal way with her hearing loss and rehabilitating her hearing loss with hearing aids. Jenni, thank you for coming on the podcast.
It's really, really nice to be here. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell us a little bit about your hearing loss journey. In other words, when did it start, maybe, or when did you realize it start, and how did that go in terms of affecting your life?
Okay, so my hearing loss story started when I was very, very young. I mean, in school, when I started school. I didn't know about it, though, then, that I had a bad hearing. It got worse and worse along the years. And I remember, when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, I started to have these boyfriends, and their voice is much more... Yeah, it's really... I also got interested in red wine, and boys. But anyway, so the boys...
that is perhaps a dangerous combination, just to say. Commentary.
Yes, it is. I try to focus on the hearing part now, not to the boys. Yeah, so there, I started to notice that something is wrong, because the voice, the level, like you men, you talk much lower. And so the frequencies, they are not. I mean, I started to have those kind of boyfriends that I couldn't hear that good anymore. And especially when I got the hearing aids, and when I, in a way, came out of the closet with my hearing aids to my friends, one of those boys came to me and said to me that he always wondered that, am I a little bit stupid or something? Because at those days when we were friends, when we started to hang out together, he was thinking that, why she's always a little slow and little like staring what? And then quite often I asked that, what? And I didn't know that I had some kind of problems with my hearing then. And so I started to play violin also when I was in the age of 3. And so I think that was one reason also why the other, in my left ear, why I can't hear that good, because the noise, you can only imagine, the violin of a child. So it's terrible. It's very loud. And then, the violin, I stopped playing violin in the age of, at that age when I got interested in the boys and the red wine. So basically that turned into punk music. And in those days, we were rehearsing in some basement, a studio, without any earplugs, without anything. Those days, people they didn't wear anything in there. And I remember those kind of, I was 19, 20, 21 years old when we started rehearsing. And I was a singer. And I remember that the room was really, really small, and we played as loud as we can. And then we had like breaks. And when we went outside to have the break, my ears, they were hurting. They were like physically hurting.
Sure.
And even because of that, I remember that I had some kind of symptoms of tinnitus at that time. Yeah, but then they all like went away. And so I didn't do anything about it. Okay, and then actually the main problem started to be very, very obvious, and it started to affect my life when my eardrum exploded from my better ear, from my right ear. And so then I discovered that, because it was terrible. I mean, like the whole ear was just like blocked for 3-4 weeks. And then I realized how bad my hearing is in my left ear, in the violin ear.
Sure.
So then I went to the doctor, and we started to explore it. And then he discovered that there is some problems, that I've had some infections in my ear when I was a child. And so they noticed that the ear bone, I don't know, is it translated correctly in English?
But we do call it.
Yeah. So there was some kind of problems with in the developing of that. So it has been there, like there has been some kind of problems which nobody like discovered before, and so they first they started to they decided that, okay, if the eardrum doesn't get any better, they're going to do a surgery. I didn't quite understand what it meant, but they were supposed to take some skin out of my leg or somewhere and replace that eardrum with some kind of tissue or something. You know, surely you know better. And then just like a few weeks before I was supposed to go to the surgery, they checked the audiologist checked my ear again, and they discovered that it had started to get better. And
Great.
They decided that, okay, they're not going to do anything about it, that they're just going to leave it like that. And okay, I was like, and the ear wasn't like, I could function with it. I could like hear a little bit more, not just voices inside my head with the right ear. But then there started to come these kind of social problems that okay, I had like the originally bad ear, and then I had the exploded eardrum ear, and then I'm a very social person. I love to make conversations, and I started to notice that I can't like participate anymore. That it doesn't help that I take a step towards the person who is talking to me. That it actually only makes the other person like, whoa, go away. That it didn't help anymore. And then I booked the doctor again, and then he said to me that, okay, let's not like, we're not going to wait anymore, that we're going to put you hearing aids into the both ears. And in a way I knew, because my mother has a very bad hearing also. It hasn't ever been like studied that do we have it in the genes, because my grandmother also has like, well, she had very bad hearing, but she never had any kind of hearing aids or horns or anything. So then we so I knew that I was going to get hearing aids at some point, and I was going to prepare it to that. But when the doctor told me like you know, when the other person tells you something that you already know in a way that it's true, it was a kind of shock.
Yeah.
Because then I mean then it was reality. It was not like the next step was not a question mark. When the next step was to know that, okay, now I'm going to get the hearing aids. And I remember telling at that moment to the audiologist that I'm going to make them rock. Now I'm not, because I haven't had any hair in my sides for 20 years. So I couldn't hide it. And that, you know, in any way hasn't ever been like a possibility or option for me to, hide. So basically I was more like thinking that okay, now when you can't hide it, I'm going to show it and I'm going to make it like look really, really cool. And when I got the hearing aids, I mean, okay, so basically it took just like one fashion or jewelry designer to lose her hearing. So that, I mean, like Deafmetal was born because of that, because it took like only 4 days for me to, it was my first day off from work when I made the first prototype of Deafmetal.
So
and I was not that.
You were working in the fashion field already, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what were you doing in terms of what were the skills you had that when you got your hearing aids that you were using? So what were you doing in terms of that?
Okay. So I've had been doing a lot of different kind of jewelry, like necklaces, but like related to Deafmetal. So I've been designing earrings. And also on top of that, I had been using a lot of like really, really thin Finnish reindeer leather, which is like usually you make gloves out of them. So it's really thin. And that is how the first Deafmetals were born, because I needed to innovate like something, some kind of like a glove or like a holder around the hearing aid, because you have the microphones and the back microphones and the front microphones, and so there couldn't be any resonation, like resonation, like any noises. So it has to be it had to be like
you couldn't block the microphone, you couldn't block the speaker. It had to be somewhere in between that you attached to it.
Yes, and it had to be like really soft material, not anything hard, because it makes noises if you just like tap it with your so
metal, it would hit the hearing aid and make noise. You wanted something soft. Oh wow, I have never thought about that, but yeah.
Yes. So that's why I designed first smallest gloves that I've ever made around my hearing aid, and then added a little like a joint ring, like a jump ring or something, like a metal part that I could attach the earring into. And I was just basically, I was tuning up the whole hearing aids for myself. I was not that was not my plan ever to start Deafmetal. I just wanted to tune my own hearing aids. And the same day that I made my first hearings, or I didn't even have a word for the innovation that I made. And when I was making the first social media posting, I was like thinking that, okay, what are these called? Is it like hearing aid jewelry or hearing aid earrings? And everything sounded so stupid and complicated, because just the word hearing aid, that's not that sexy, Yep. And so how am I gonna describe this? And then it came like lightning into my head, that Deafmetal. And so I hashtagged it Deafmetal. And I think that eventually the word was one reason why the whole post got viral, because it was so funny.
Right.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, that is how my brand was born. And when it got viral, I was not expecting anything. I was not trying to sell anything. I was just telling to my former fashion brands customers in Facebook and Instagram that I got hearing aids, but hey, I don't mind because I made them just look like earrings. And then when it got viral, in Finland, it got 220,000 views. And next week, the Hearing Loss Association of Finland, they contacted me. And at that point, I kind of realized that, okay, I didn't just solve my own problem, that I might have just, solved somebody else's problem also. And they just suddenly, my hearing aids, which felt so medical looking in every way, they became earrings. They became something bigger, something something much more me. And that was kind of a great moment.
Well, you flip the narrative about the hearing devices, right? In other words, most people think they're unattractive, clunky, they don't want them, and you turn them into a fashion accessory that makes them attractive and interesting.
Yeah, and my former brand, Cheetah, was kind of complicated brand. I mean, like it was more like a high-end brand, which means that it was targeted for a very niche group of people and was very expensive. And so one of my biggest values when I innovated Deafmetal was that I want to do everything differently. I want to make it affordable because I had the skills how to design the jewelry. And then all I need is to make the right kind of mold to work as the jewelry holder. And that is when we started to develop this silicone holster, which is the jewelry holder. And we make them nowadays from so many colors, but like 99% we sell transparent ones.
So is the silicone what you originally used the reindeer leather for?
Yeah, what happened with the reindeer leather jewelry holders was that people with hearing aids started to like get a clue about this, and they started to contact me. And the only experience that I had from hearing aids was my own. Right. And when they started to describe me all the other brands, hearing aid brands and models, there were so many, and I was doing patterns to every single, and I was like, okay, I am going to lose my youth and my health if I start to sue every single holder for people. That I need to just like find a way to make it more simple. And that's when I started to think about different material than just the leather. But we still do those leather ones, and they go to guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, they are just because men, they don't like that much of these like dropping kind of earrings, like not glam looking, like
yours. They don't want something that comes down and goes back up. They want something that goes to their hearing aid. Yeah. So a piece of leather kind of saves their masculinity in a way. I don't know. You are so different. Men are so much more into watches and shoes. Okay. I'm not sure about the shoes comment. I'll agree about the watches. So you stumbled into this market or this need, right? You started fulfilling it. How are the challenges of scaling it? In other words, all of a sudden, going from none to 270,000 people looking at it probably led to several hundred people inquiring about getting it, which probably led to many more. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let's say that I haven't sold Deafmetal for one single day.
You haven't not sold.
Not sold.
Right.
It's like it's an innovation that sells itself. It's in a way because it is not just like a visual thing. So we have like very strong other selling argument for it, and that's safety. Because when you attach it, when you use the Deafmetal holster, and you can put like safety rings into the holster, or you can attach it. You can make them look like earrings when the jewelry is attached into the hole of your ear. I mean the
piercing.
So piercing, yes. So it just keeps the hearing aid safe. And this is especially what happened in COVID time, because people started to use the masks, so on. And I read quite many articles about, people how many people lost their hearing aids when they were using those masks. Yeah. But everything started out like very organically. I didn't have so my company, Ahtiainen, which is operating Deafmetal, was established 1 month ago before COVID. And then naturally, when everybody is in lockdown, staying at home, nobody is buying anything, especially nothing related to how you look, nothing visual, nothing fashionable, because, well, I was sitting with my same trousers for 3 months at home. So it's like nobody cares how I look or, you know. And so I used my time very, very efficiently. I didn't actually even know why I started to write this business plan. And it ended up being 64 pages of my ideas. It was very like visual. There was pictures of my designs, and I wrote the whole thing through, like what is Deafmetal and what are my ideas about the market, where would I want to go. And I remember that we would have wanted to go to Denmark, because Denmark is the same size of a country than Finland, and it's really, really close. So it would be a very good test market. And then we had like as a survey, I wrote about US, and I wrote everything in English, even though I'm Finnish, because I knew from the beginning that this is going to change people's lives, who are using hearing aids. And then in October, it was in September, I got an email. It was not an email, it was from our customer, through our webpage. I got a contact from audiologist in the States, Jenni Ahtiainen, and she's been working as an audiologist for 20 years. And she contacted me and said that she would like to talk how to bring Deafmetal to US. And I was like, okay, I've had similar kind of contacts before, but they all like nothing was growing because it was COVID. I mean, like people were obviously interested, but nothing was growing because it was so uncertain time. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to give you my email address. I wrote it to Jen, and then we started to negotiate. And I didn't want to get like very excited because I was afraid that I will fall like really, really, hard. I don't want to be disappointed that if nothing happens. And then we started to email with each other and talk about more Deafmetal. And I remember it was a Saturday morning. I never even told to my husband about it because I didn't want him to get like excited about that. Maybe, I could also earn some money because everything was just dead in the lockdown time. And then it was Saturday morning, and I received the first order from Jen, and I just started to cry because it was huge. Yeah, and then I that is how I found that is how deafmetalusa.com was established, and Jen is doing mainly that at the moment. And actually every market that we've had, I mean Australia, even we have a distributor in South Africa. And let me tell you, when they contacted me from South Africa, that was not in my business plan to take Deafmetal to South Africa. So, and Israel was also like one of those countries that I was like, okay.
So you're managing products in a multinational distribution, is that right? And so how does that work?
Yeah.
Design them, where are they made, and then how do they get to that?
So everything is now designed in Finland, right. And they are also manufactured in Finland.
Okay.
And this is something I would not like to talk about yet, but okay. It's coming out because since the beginning, all the Deafmetal jewelry, they have been made by these. It's a kind of a foundation of hard of hearing people and deaf people here in Finland. And, assembling jewelry is not rocket science. So basically everybody who like to do things with their hands, they are capable of doing that.
Sure.
And so basically that foundation is organizing our manufacturing. And I like the idea so much, and it's totally scalable to any country because, as we know, you have hard of hearing and deaf people in every continent.
Sure.
So, but not for now, we want to keep all the manufacturing in Finland. One reason is that I can just
monitor it.
Yes, thank you. Monitor, yes.
And how do you do the distribution? Is there a bunch of boxes of these products in your garage, or I wouldn't even know how to tackle getting this stuff all over the world.
Yeah, so the same company, the same foundation is doing the assembling of our packaging. And this is something that we have developed at the time. Like, for example, when we ship to US, Jen has her own packaging. And there's no point in shipping air in the boxes from Finland. Right. Yeah, so it's like it's much more affordable and wise for her to buy the package there. And she has the prints and everything. But for example, in 7th of July this month, just 2 weeks ago, we launched in Japan. And they didn't want to search for their own package. So we shipped them. And I made a folding video, and they have their own people who are folding the boxes. So it was much more cheaper that way.
Sure.
But basically, for some distributors, we are sending our jewelry in bulk, and all our B2C retailers around the Europe and in UK, we are selling everything in the box. Folded box. But this is it's like I've told to all of I call them insiders. We don't have a newsletter to our consumers, to our customers yet, to our hearing aid users, but we do have a newsletter to our ENT office, audiologists and all. Yes, and so this is what I've told to every one of them, that we're in a situation where we are building the plane while we are flying. So basically, I know that there is going to be questions and mistakes, for example, the shipping air in the boxes. Right. So please tell me, ask questions if you have question our way of doing, because that is the most valuable information that we can get, because we are such a new brand and Deafmetal is a new innovation. So basically, whatever you can give us, whatever feedback, is it positive or negative, it's very welcome.
Sure. And so where do you see you taking it in the next couple of years?
So basically my work is not done. Today, new hearing aids, they keep on coming. We just finished, we finished a new innovation for metal. And then I got today prototypes from a cochlear. It was in the table, but it's not now. I took it to the office. So so we have a lot of the innovation that is in my behind the ear hearing aids. That is just one innovation. So we have a different kind of innovations for cochlear implants, for consoles, because every one of them needs a different kind of what is it that you use in a car? Like a seat belt, like a attachment.
Yeah.
Yes.
The way you connected it.
Yes. And that is what I'm doing right now. And then the other thing, which other huge value added thing that I try to focus on more and more is the preventive work of hearing loss. And this is something that we made quite many studies, and we participate into many competitions, which is related to how to prevent hearing loss, not just for the fact how to erase stigma without jewelry, but how to actually prevent the hearing loss from happening. Because I feel everyone who is working in this hearing loss sector, they know that the hearing that the amount of hearing losses, it's increasing like tremendously. And because people are, I mean, like if I just look at our children, they all, I mean, like everyone is just listening book or music or something all the time. So they get like noise pollution all the time into their ear. And so it's like a human-sized climate change that, you know, nobody's doing like anything like visible about it. And after Deafmetal, we've had a lot of luck because some musicians, they suffer naturally, they suffer hearing loss, and some of them use hearing aids, and so, or well, some kind of hearing devices, and they have started to, I don't know, is it because of the name of the brand Deafmetal, but they have started to contact me that, hey, I'm a bass player from Croatia, can we do something together? And then they are working actually as the best ambassadors for the music people, you know, for the listeners. They have the street credibility to tell to their fan base about the problems.
Sure.
I mean, like about the, yeah. So this is something that we have started to do also. And I think it's very, well, everybody thinks it's really important.
Yeah, it's important and really a cool way to get the message out. That's really wonderful.
Yes, it is. Even though it would be a better thing for my business, the more hearing loss, the more dollars.
Right. Well, it's there is a bit of an irony that what people do as their business is something that they want to extinguish as an entity, if that makes sense.
Yes. Right. Yes. But it's like I feel like we've started to innovate new kind of like attitude campaigns, for example, about the importance of silence, which is one way to turn the whole okay, now my Finnish brain is trying to translate to English.
Mindset about.
Yeah. It's like, it's okay, you know, and to the message to normal people is that, you know, remember that it's like sleeping, that you need to, you know, rest your ears also to make silence and hearing loss, of course, more normal, but also a bit more like
uplifting.
I mean, like, so that there is not like this shame about it. I figured out so many good things about having hearing aids. Because if I take them off, I mean, it just feels so good.
You disconnect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah.
The solitude is not all bad.
No, it's not. No. But of course, as a music lover, as I wrote to my story, it was a shock when I lost it, and there is still like problems with it. So.
No, understood. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Jenni, what's your favorite sound?
Oh my God.
You can name more than one.
Yeah, silence is not the one. I think you get like a soothing feeling out of this sounds so pathetic that I think that people might think that I'm lying or trying to
try it. Let us know.
No, but it's just like the sound of a forest, of a small wind.
People say that.
Yeah, like you have something going on in there, and it's not like, it doesn't have any rhythm.
Yeah, it's the wind going through the leaves or something of that nature.
Yes, something that it is there, and it's slightly taking away also the tinnitus in your, and it's soothing. Yes, I've had some problems with my blood pressure, so you know, it's like taking the inner wind away from my head.
Sure, very much. Jenni, if people wanted to find your brand, so where would they find? You mentioned some of the websites. So, what are some of the websites they can find your designs and your creations?
Yeah, so it basically depends on where are you located. not all of our distributors have the same collection that we do in our nest, which is in Finland. We ship everywhere. It's like, so the home nest of Deafmetals is deafmetal.store is the address. And then if you're located in US, I hope that you always support your locals. Yeah. So if you're located in Canada, we have a distributor in Canada, and then we have one in US. And if you're located in Australia, then you go to their page, and you can have all those distributor informations and links in our website in deafmetal.store. And also you can find the links in deafmetal.com.
And if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that? Through LinkedIn or the website? Can they contact you? Is that how they would get a hold of you?
Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, I love customer service. I really do. And I'm a little bit afraid that what if it gets out of hands? If I don't have the time to answer to everyone, because my letters are quite big when I start to answer and long. But people can write to me. It's like JENNI.AHTIAINEN and this @ wow, how did I forget that? Deafmetal.store.
Okay. Yes. All right. That is wonderful. Jenni, this is
the
information will be with the episode. Yes, Jenni.
Thank you.
So this has been great. I really appreciate it. I think it's wonderful that you're innovating and trying to kind of flip the mindset about the technology and how it looks and how it integrates into your fashion and how you present yourself, and some practical things too, obviously, to be able to, from a safety point of view, make sure these rather expensive investments are still safe and you can still use them. This is really a wonderful innovation. I'm sure there'll be more to hear and see of you in the future. This has been really great. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. And if somebody has like really weird hearing device, I would be really happy to know about it, because I love problems. But I can innovate.
Me too. I like solving problems. It's very interesting.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on. This has been great.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Listen Up podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get updates on future episodes.